I literally done a 5-odd-minute video for it to be interrupted by a phone call and have to start again. Now, here goes take 100. As Tom has mentioned in his video, I guess we have been very influenced with videos that's been coming in recently, and we haven't really expressed how we've got to where we are in terms of return to strength, and I think it's time that we've done that without going into too much detail. And as Tom mentioned, you know, we've suffered trauma in terms of suicide and death or murder. And that, for me, was probably, in fact, most definitely the tipping point for me. The icing on the cake, I guess. The point where I just said, enough's enough. You know, losing my grandmother, who was a massive influence in my life, despite the fact that she never stopped moaning. And I don't think I ever realised how much she meant to me until she was gone. And I was always in denial that she was unwell, and always thought, you know, she's going to get through it and stuff. And when she finally didn't, I think that was a massive sucker punch. And then obviously losing a friend from circumstances that I wouldn't wish upon anyone got me to the point where I was just like, I can't cope with my feelings anymore. I can no longer be this closed book who takes all these punches and doesn't release any kind of steam. So what I used to do in the past to deal with things was just take it. You know, I just had to take it. Because when I did finally share one story, it backfired massively to the point where I lost everything. Even though I was totally in the right. I was called a liar. And unfortunately I lost everything. So that was a lesson learned for me, that, you know, sharing stories wasn't necessarily a good thing. But that's wrong. And at Return to Strength, we do not want that to be the way. We want people to share stories, because certainly this generation is difficult and you need to speak. You can't keep bottling things up, because what that does is leads to bad decisions, bad life choices, like drinking. Like I used to drink just to mask the pain, just to get away from my mind. I used to just drink, and then often I'd come home and cry myself to sleep when I'm alone and think about things. And that was much needed, to be honest. I did need to cry. You know, you bottle things up for so long, you need to vent. So I guess I used to keep things close to my chest, because being pretty much the only male in the family, having a wonderful mum and 2 younger sisters who I'm sure look up to me, I didn't ever want to show weakness, so I didn't. But that's not good for you, and I don't want them to think that they can't speak to people or speak to me, because that's not the way forward. The more open you are, the easier life will become. So what I do is turn these negative past thoughts or past experiences into a positive. As difficult as it is, I choose to make my future choices a good choice based on bad choices I've experienced. So should I have kids, I know the right ways and the wrong ways. I know that I'd be there 100% from start to finish, no matter what. And I know that anyone that I come into contact with, I will tell them that I understand. I will listen to what they have to say and give them some guidance based on my experiences. That is how I cope with what has happened in my life, by trying to make a positive change on the people that I'm surrounded by, the people that I really enjoy being around. I surround myself with inspiring people, smart people, people that will listen, but people that will also tell me when I'm wrong. And I think that's very important. It's very, very important. Now, obviously I write poetry. I mentioned turning negative into positives. I listen to music. I keep myself very active. I often take on too much to the point where I'm like, oh, I've double booked myself. What am I going to do? But I think it is important to keep your mind active. Set yourself goals. See yourself a week from now. What do I want to have achieved by next week? What do I want to have achieved by next month? next year. That is the ultimate message that I want to send across to everyone, is set yourself goals. In my opinion, you get one shot at life, as much as I want to believe otherwise. As much as I've often, as someone recently said, flirted with the idea of suicide, I would never do that. Because life is so precious. The people in it are so precious. My family are precious. I couldn't put people through that. And I don't want to do that. As dark and as down as I have felt, it is important to come up fighting. Do not be beat up by your thoughts, by your past, often things that you can't control. Control your future. Make good future decisions. Inspire the younger generation. Inspire your family. And prove to yourself that you can do it. Because you can do it. I have done it. So you can do it. That's one of the reasons I've started Return to Strength. Thank you for listening. And I hope you relate.